Good morning, gladiators. We who are about to play S02. Hey everybody. Today we're doing a little dungeon crawling. We're going back in time to 1991 to play Westwood's Eye of the Beholder. This is a classic game from the early 90s. It's one of the early 3D dungeon crawlers, along with sort of Bard's Tale and Might and Magic. It certainly set the scene for a new era of role-playing games, and there's a lot to like about it, and some things that are a little clunky and haven't aged very well. But I remember buying this game as a kid, and I'd loved all the old SSI Gold Box games, which I'll tell you about a bit more in the video. And I was excited to play this, and I wasn't disappointed, but it had a few issues that, you know, didn't quite live up to, for my mind, what it promised. But we're going to go back and revisit today and see if see how it holds up. So we're going to create a party of adventurers and then send them into the dungeons of Waterdeep, deep in the Forgotten Realms. All right, join me now for Eye of the Beholder. All right, so here we are at the title screen of the game, Eye of the Beholder. This is in an era when VGA graphics, or 256 color graphics, were quite new and exciting, and you didn't see that many games that had so many colors. Most of the games I'd played in the past had only 16 colors, or even 4 colors when I was very young. And I had a monochrome screen, so it was 4 shades of yellow. And so this was, you know, in my mind, quite exciting. Let's start a new party. And I remember seeing these backgrounds and thinking it's really cool. So we're going to create a new character. It's following the Dungeons and Dragons rule set, so, and using the Forgotten Realms world. So you've got classic sort of Tolkien characters. Let's create a human male first. We'll get a paladin, lawful good. You can only be lawful good if you're a paladin. And we'll choose a portrait for him. There's some shady looking characters. What about that guy? He looks a little bit like who we want. You can re-roll, but you can't actually... Can you modify the stats? Oh yeah. You can give them... So there's no penalty for just maxing out your stats, which is kind of cool. But we'll go with those ones now for now, because we don't have this video not take an hour or two. We'll keep him, and we'll name him Sir Belgrave, or just Belgrave, who is of course the noble knight from my Swords and Sandals games. Okay, we've got Belgrave. Therefore, we also need to have Wolfgang, I believe, and we will make him an elf just for fun. Elven. What do you reckon? We get a fighter. Let's make him a cleric for today. It's not how he normally would be, but we'll make him a neutral good cleric. Alignment in games can often have a limited impact in computer role-playing games, less so in a game like this. Go with that portrait. Okay, keep those stats. Wolfgang. Let's make ourselves a mage. We'll have a half-elf female, and we'll get a mage. She can be chaotic neutral. Oh, interesting portraits. What about this? Wow, interesting. She seems good. We want to have plenty of intelligence for her because she's a wizard, so we need to boost that up. Make her strong. Wonder how you... Oh, there we go. She's a genius as well. We'll keep that. In other ones of these Dungeons and Dragons style games, you had a limited amount of times you could re-roll, or a certain amount of stats. You weren't able to just max out your stats like that. I will call her Luminesca. Also a Swords and Sandals character, one of the arena bosses from Swords and Sandals 2 Redux. And finally, let's get ourselves a dwarf. A dwarven thief, I think. He can be chaotic good. Oh no, oh well. Who looks suitably dwarven? Like this character. We'll call him, what's a good dwarven name? What about Iron Brew, the dwarf. Those who have tasted the awful Scottish drink Iron Brew, they will know what I'm talking about. It's a really orange, fizzy drink. Right, entering the game. So what we didn't see in this video is quite a nice introductory scene where 4 heroes enter a castle and are told they have a secret mission sent to them by the Lords of Waterdeep, who are these sort of shadowy characters that rule the city, and they're supposed to be sent underground to investigate a certain mission. But when they get there, they find themselves trapped. And here we are, trapped, and we can see there's rubble. Belgrave has a sword and a spare hand there. Wolfgang has his mace and a holy symbol. Ironbrew has an axe, and Luminescia has a dagger and a magic book. And you move with the arrow keys, like so, or the mouse. I'm going to use the arrow keys. Actually, maybe I'll use the... No, I'll have to use this. Alright, so you can pick up items as well. We've got a rock. We'll give the rock to him. You can click on the characters also to find their stats. And in this game, you need to eat food because you get hungry and you die otherwise. You have arrows and you can see what your armor is like. There is a way to... It's a little bit clunky. You can kind of see your armor class is 8, but if we remove the armor, your armor class will now be 10. So this is using the old, for those who are interested in Dungeons & Dragons, this is using the old AD&D rule set, which predates the new Dungeons & Dragons ones. And back then, a lower armor class was better than a higher armor class. So you wanted like numbers like -2, -4. It was all very confusing. I mean, you learn to understand it after a while. We also have some rations, some iron rations here, which are delicious sort of, trail mix type things. And we have a note, a letter of mark. Can we read that? We can't actually read that, which is interesting. All right. There's our other 4 heroes. They've all got their various goods. Let's keep going. We'll pick that rock up in case we need it, because sometimes you need to put rocks on presser plates. Now, one of the tricky things in a game like this is keeping track of where you're going. So there's a lever there. We can push that, and that will open the door. And here we have a skeleton who some poor soul has died, and he's got some lockpicks. We'll give them to Ironbrew, who's a thief, and he might be able to use them. There's some bones as well, which we can carry. I don't know what we'd want for them. Something scurries deeper into the floor drain. It was very easy back in the day to get lost in these games map-wise. Oh, here's our first enemy. It's a kobold, and he's attacking us. So now they actually attack in pretty much real time. So, well, you know what we should have done? We should have saved the game, because we've now got a couple of guys who are in a lot of pain. Okay, oh damn. This is a tough run for these guys. This kobold is doing a lot of damage. Okay, we got him. So that was my first issue with Eye of the Beholder back in the day when I played it, was the combat left a lot to be desired. You had your 4 little characters here up on the screen, and you saw what you were facing, but you never really got a sense of the physical aspect of combat and the hitting and that kind of thing that you get from like a bird's eye view or the more other turn-based games. I mentioned the SSI Gold Box games back in the day, and let's camp because we need to rest and heal. Will healers heal? Yes. Someone's still injured, rest until healed. Hopefully we don't get attacked. This is a long time to rest. Poor Belgrave, he really is in a lot of pain. There he is, he's back. But the old Gold Box games had wonderful turn-based combat. I actually did a video on one of the Gold Box games in Season 1 of the game Gladiator. So if you're interested in checking that out, that is Dark Queen of Krynn, which gives you a bit of a taste of what those were like. And they actually had this sort of pseudo 3D element as well. Game options, save game. Yes, save the game. So if we die, we'll come back. Alright. Can we memorize any spells? Let's memorize some magic missile. Clear. Get some spells going. Get Melf's acid arrow. And let's pray for spells. Clerics get to pray for spells. So do paladins, actually. So we can get a bless. We get a couple of cure light wounds. And that'll be it for that. Aid will be good. And I think Belgrave also can pray for spells. Too low level. Okay, you can get that later. So now we need to rest again. There was a certain clunkiness to this game that I found a little more tedious, even back then, compared to the old gold box games. And certainly now, it feels a little, you could easily have a save game button down here. There's a lot of space down here for stuff. I mean, I know in the future Eye of the Beholder games, I think you get extra party members. I'm not sure about this one. Anyway, let's go through the door. Keep adventuring. There's no music other than in certain sections. Open that and we'll go through here. So it relies on little ambient noises like the door opening. And you have to look for little clues on the walls, because sometimes there's messages scrawled on the walls, or you click on things and it tells you things like, this slimy, smelly drain pipe reveals nothing. If I recall, there are 12 levels in Eye of the Beholder, 12 levels down, and the dungeon tile set, of course, changes. You eventually go down and you fight Dark Elves, or Drow, as they're known in the Forgotten Realms. And they are tough because they're magic resistant. And, of course, you fight Beholders, who are some of the toughest bastards in the game. I think there's one called Xanth, or something like that. Might be the name of the Beholder you have to fight. I could be mistaken. It could be for another game. There's some kobolds down there who are lurking. There's a lot of them. I wouldn't mind trying to avoid them for now. Press that button. Oh. Now we've got a problem. We've got 4 kobolds. And our guys keep missing. Luminescia can cast Magic Missile. Okay, that's good. Did a bit of damage. Wolfgang. No swapping. No swapping. You can sort of send your guys to the back if they are in pain. But these guys really need a ranged weapon, which is Magic Missile. I got him. Great. Took a bit of damage. Yeah, it's the combat, I think, is the thing that is probably the most clunky about this game. Wolfgang gain a level. Awesome. And we just stepped on some kind of pressure plate. Let's lower the door. Can't go that way. Yeah, this game had 2 sequels, Eye of the Beholder 2 and 3. I played the second one, but not very much. I actually got almost to the end of this game, but I never quite finished it because it got very tough. And I never played the third one, but I believe it was more of the same, except the screen area was larger, the actual map, the viewable area, and I think it had a mini-map. So, there's some kind of puzzle there which we can solve at some point. This is where it's easy to get lost, because it's like you need to do certain things to open certain doors, and what you can do, I believe, here is we can put, I thought we might be able to put a rock there too. There we go. By putting 2 things on the pressure plates, we're able to get through. That's right. I haven't played this since 1991, so that's how long ago it is, but I still remember that little trap. Through the door. It makes it tough without a mini-map, You can't click on that or anything. And in some ways it does give you that real feeling of being lost underground. Should we see how everyone's food situation is like? He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. She's fine. We'll camp and we'll just rest. Rememorize our spells. I think they will rememorize their spells again. Or do we need to... No, that's good. All right. And we'll also save the game. There was a version... Not a version. There was a spiritual sequel to this game called Grimoire. No, not Grimoire. That's another game. Although that has a lot of elements of this. The Legend of Grimrock came out a few years ago and it had Eye of the Beholder style gameplay, but with some nice sort of animated turns and so on. So it was using a real 3D engine. rather than this sort of forced perspective one. And that was quite cool. I played a little bit of that. So if you're interested in this style game but you want a more modern take on it, check out The Legend of Grimrock. My good buddy Jeff Wicks is always talked about making an Eye of the Beholder game, and he's an excellent 3D modeler. And I think he has some really good ideas for how to improve this. And one of them would be, of course, you know, at least show the weapons and so on, the arms coming out and attacking, or even having the characters appear when it's combat. So I look forward to seeing what he does with that. Right, what's that? Some scroll of armor. Excellent. Mage scroll of armor. Might need that. And a cleric scroll of bless. We'll give that to our trusty priest. Continue along our way. Oh, what the hell's that? A nasty looking worm of some kind. What is it? Doesn't really tell us. Oh, there's a few of them. Magic missile. We keep our mage and our thief at the back. Well, the thief has been a bit useless. I probably should have put him... Melf's acid arrow. That'll do. Oh no, Belgrave is down. Need some better armor, Belgrave. You throw a dagger at him. Did a bit of damage to a rock. Can't reach. See if Belgrave can be healed. Everyone's been blessed, which is a bit late. The fight's over. Cast it on Belgrave. There we go. That's great. He got most of his health back. There we go. So we don't always need to rest. So it's very, because there's a limited dungeon tile set, there's not actually much in the way of landmarks. So it's very, very easy to get lost. So I don't know if we've come this way, but you can go through here anyway. Follow this. Yeah, I mean, for mine, this game doesn't really hold up. It's okay. I always prefer the top-down games to these sort of pseudo 3D ones, but I can see the, you know, the merit in it. And certainly for its time, it was pretty cool. A ton of atmosphere, and the graphics were awesome for the time, believe it or not. But you know, it shows you how far we've come. Keep healing Belgrave. He's really doing it tough. We probably should have got another fighter, actually. Usually when I play these games, I try to get a couple of fighters, because the clerics can fight, but not as well as paladins. And damn, we're out of spells. Let's bring Iron Brew to the front, because he's... No! Swap. Send Belgrave to the back. It's a little clunky. Swap, swap. Oh, come on. And it's not actually drag and drop or anything. You've actually got to... Oh, gosh. So all the while this guy's still attacking us. Swap. 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 There we go. Two right mouse clicks. That should have been pretty easier. So you got a little timer cooldown here, you can see. I mean, I'd almost go in so far to say combat is downright dull. Not just slightly boring, but dull. So we're going to rest. Imagine resting for, you know, 8, 10, 12, 15 hours, 60 hours in a stinky dungeon like this. It'd be pretty awful. And what these medieval games don't really get across is just how smelly a sewer would actually be. You would not survive down in a sewer for more than, you know, 5-10 minutes without noxious gases, without, you know, serious... Okay, so we can put something there. Try putting that. Something like that. There we go. A little puzzle for us. Ah, so we've now come across some copy protection, which back in the day you'd have a manual or something. You have to look through and go, oh, what's line 3, you know, on this word, and then you type it in, and then you get to the next level. I downloaded this game from an abandonware website because the game is almost 30 years old. So I actually did buy it back in the day, but I've long lost my copy. All right, let's try a word. Let's try the. Going down. Hey, did that work? It might have. Who knows? Probably not, but I'm sure it's cracked or something. Right, we found ourselves a key. Let's put a key in the lock. And down we go. Now we've found a hole in the ground. So we could probably turn that on and off, but I wouldn't mind seeing what's down there. We fell down, so we're on level 3 now. Let's swap Iron Brew back out for Belgrave because we need our best man at the front. Although Wolfgang can probably be swapped out. I think Iron Brew is probably a better fighter, even though he's only a thief. Okay, so we fell down into a pit. Alright, okay. So we didn't go too far. So we can throw a dagger. I think. Throw an axe. Alright, that worked. There's lots of crafty little puzzles in these kind of games. Movement in the foreground. Ooh. Something in the wall. We've got some rations. You can have a snack and another key. It's probably quite a good mobile game to play on a tablet. Oh, we've fallen down here again. Anyway, I think that is enough Eye of the Beholder for now. Potion of healing. Nice. Heal me. Heal me. Don't remember how to use it. Because, you know, you get the idea, and we're probably not going to make it much further than we are now. So, yeah, a little trip down memory lane to the early 1990s. And there were a lot of good role-playing games back then, but the SSI ones were some of the best, and they had the license for Dungeons & Dragons, so they were pretty cool back in the day. I did prefer the gold box games like Pool of Darkness and Curse of the Azure Bonds and Champions of Krynn and that kind of thing. But, you know, there is a certain magic to Eye of the Beholder as well. Thank you for joining me today on the Games Gladiator. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.